Welcome to the round 3 preview between the Carlton Football Club and the North Melbourne Football Club. It's 4:20 on Friday, Good Friday, which means it's the Good Friday game. I'm pretty sure that is now going to be a routine for us. This is a new concept that was brought to us last year in terms of getting that Friday night slot and making it a regular fixture. So a very important week with a very important cause behind it. And this is a type of game and this is a type of themed game which makes me remember just how powerful the club is and what it uses its resources for. I've just finished having a really good conversation with Cripsy about the Good Friday appeal, and I think before Friday, it would be great if you could go watch that video and just get a little bit more educated on what the Good Friday appeal is all about. A little bit more about the Royal Children's Hospital. I learnt a few things, not only about Cripsy, but about the appeal and the club's link with it now. So that got me in a really good mood and good spirit to talk about the game. We've had a week off. North have just played a game this weekend. Let's get cracking. Let's start with North. My perception of North is really as follows. I like what I see. I think they've got some young, fearless players who are really ready to make their mark. Where obviously they're at in their development is that emotional maturity. I think they will trouble sides for a period of time in a game. It's just a matter of whether they can sustain it. That's kind of where they're at. We're no different. We're probably, outside looking in, a little bit more advanced in that journey. We've taken a long time to find that emotional maturity, and you could probably argue we're still looking for it. We still haven't nailed it. I think very few teams have nailed that. And so I go into the game expecting to win this game, confident that we're capable of winning this game because I think we can beat anyone. And that's the challenge. And that's the challenge for the group, to go out there when you're expecting to win, when the world's expecting you to win, and not allowing that thought to infiltrate and allow you to be that 5% off. Because if you give a team like North Melbourne a chance to win a game of football, particularly early in the season where they're pretty fit and pretty healthy, they'll take it. And so I'm very mindful of being too arrogant. I have a confidence that the group is mature enough to get past that. I think we've been doing previews against North Melbourne talking in that same regard for a while. I still remember 2021, went into that game thinking, we've got to win to play finals, and we ended up losing that game. I think Larky kicked 7, and it was just, I don't know, the fan cams from that day still ring in my memory very clearly. So it's one of those. It's one of those, do you want to be a premiership contender? You have to be putting sides like this away, getting the 4 points, and, away you go. We have come off the bye. The bye actually came at a great time. All of a sudden, opening round is the most incredible, genius idea that we could have had for our season in 2024. There are probably 4 or 5 guys who definitely will benefit from the bye more than most. I think of someone like Zach Williams playing a couple of games after a long layoff and then getting some rest. I think of Jacob Wiedering, who could potentially come in this week. At the time of filming, I don't have the update on the injury news, so I don't know who will be available. My thoughts on who we would bring in are pretty based around minimal. I think Elijah Hollins is one I definitely want to see in this mix and in this side. I like the way he goes about it. I mean, I've only seen him at training and in practice matches, but the tackling ability, the pressure he applies, combined with his running ability and his ability to win the ball, I think is a nice piece to add to this puzzle while we wait for Sam Walsh to be ready in particular. So I'd be bringing him in. I think Jesse Motlop's the other one that I think I'm definitely keen to see in this side. Then you've got that list of players, Walsh, Wiedering, Marchbank, Martin, these types, who some of them, it's said that they would be updated after the bye. We are after the bye. We will get an update whenever we do. We may very well have an update by the time you're watching this video. So I will reserve judgment on those names. But, I mean, if they're available, question is, do you just play it safe, or give them the extra week off and just make sure they're at 100%? The last thing we want to do is miss an opportunity to get an extra rest in for a week that would benefit us later in the season. So that's that. Lots happening throughout the week, whether it's we mentioned the Good Friday appeal. We mentioned the fundraiser that the club is doing. The cheer squad are doing a raffle with proceeds to go to the Good Friday appeal. Also, Friday's a very special experience for Carlton fans, particularly those of you who would like to experience real Carlton, Lygon Street Carlton. So our friends at Danini's, they are hosting a lunch, a Good Friday lunch. They're opening their doors and they're hosting a Good Friday lunch. At the time of filming this is very important that you understand this. At the time of filming this, bookings are available for the midday session and the 1:30 p.m. session. So make sure you have booked a table. I'll be there in the afternoon and then I'll make my way over to Marvel afterwards. So I think it'll be a nice way to just build some spirit beforehand in a function room, in a restaurant, have some beautiful food, and then away we go to Marvel Stadium. So make sure we fill up Danini's and go from there. They do an incredible job, and they've also just been pillars of the Carlton community for decades. So that'll be nice, and it'll be nice to put a bit of a spotlight on Lygon Street and bring this digital side of the Carlton community into Danini's and pack it out. So that'll be great. And that's it. Footy's back and away we go. I'm excited to be back there. The routine doesn't feel right without it. We got a little taste of it, a couple of games. I think a break is always good because it allows you to breathe. And then, I think for us, our ability to generate good looks for Harry and Charlie is really what I want to see. North will be pesky at the contest in particular. They'll be full of energy and full of burst. So our ability to manage the emotions of the game and manage the energy of the game and know when to punish them off turnover. I think that's something that's really started to come to light. It is only 2 games, but I'm liking what I'm seeing there. Good sides punish sides who make mistakes. And we've been talking about that for many, many years, being on the other end. Just seemed like every time we turned the ball over, we would be punished. Whereas we saw, only in round 1 against the Tigers, we were making mistakes and not being as punished, in my view, as what we used to. So that's something I'll be looking for. Quality looks. How do we manage North Melbourne's intensity? We know they're going to come at us, and there's a mentality here. There's a hunted and there's the hunters, and I think for all intensive purposes, we are going to be hunted for the majority of this season because we finished where we did last year. People look at that as now that we have done that we are one of the better teams in the competition, whether we're playing like it or not. And I think North Melbourne is certainly one of those teams who will look at this game. And to be fair, they're also going to want to put in a good showing because they're going to want to keep this fixture. So that's that. Other than that, I'm excited. What about you? What are you doing on Friday for the game? It's a public holiday. If you're not going to be at Danini's, what are you doing? If you are going to be at Danini's, what time are you going? We'll be able to catch up there and say a quick hello, and then find our way to Marvel Stadium. And also share your thoughts about this game. Team selection, what would you do with all these names? If the injury report has come out by the time you're watching this video, what would you do and who would you bring in and who would you bring out? And yeah, what are just your general thoughts and questions for this week as we preview the round 3 clash with the Blues and the North Melbourne Kangaroos? See you on Friday. Go Blues.